good, guys? It is Reed and welcome back to another video. Today we have something I've been super excited to share with you guys for a long time. This is the OTO Index Vanish. So if you don't know, the OTO Index, the OTO Index, is a system that I developed a few years ago and posted on the channel probably a year or 2 years ago. The OTO Index stands for Out in the Open Index, and it essentially allows you to use the deck in play as an index. So what does that mean, using the deck in play as an index? So if you think of a typical index, it's a separate deck that you can use out of sight, out of mind, to get any card into your possession under your control. So this allows you to get any card in your possession, in your control, that a spectator names without it seeming like you're going through the deck looking for their card. This system relies heavily on psychology and less so on mechanics. So if you haven't watched the original Out in the Open Index tutorial, I'll link it up here and you can go check out that video. I would highly recommend you watch that first, as I am going to skip over a lot of the fundamentals that are used here. Now, what am I teaching in this video? Well, after I developed the OTO Index, I played around with it for a while, and eventually I discovered one of my favorite uses for it, which is making any named card instantly vanish from a shuffled deck without having to do anything. So the spectator can shuffle the cards, hand you the deck, name any card, and you can literally go through the cards with the spectator, and whatever card they named will appear to be completely vanished. Not only that, you'll have that card fully in your control. This is so good for so many effects. I use it all the time in a bunch of effects, and in the other ideas at the end of the video, I'll talk about some of the effects that you can use this for, but I cannot wait to share this Vanish with you guys. So let's not waste any more time. If you guys would like some more help with this or anything else card magic or mentalism related, you can check out my private lessons, link in the description, and let's get into it. You're thinking of a card, right? What card are you thinking of?
Can I say it?
Yeah?
Queen of Spades.
The Queen of Spades. And Daisy, Bailey shuffle one card in between there. Let's take a look. Let's take a look if we see the Queen of Spades. I don't see it there. I don't see it there. Alright, we're almost halfway.
You know he has the crown.
I don't see it there. I don't see it here.
Oh my god!
Hold on, let's check one more time for the camera. Queen of Spades.
My bad.
Do you think?
I
Think about that, Bailey. You shuffled one card in between the aces,
You
and
didn't touch it. No way! That's insane!
so I hope you guys like that little demonstration. So using the OTO Index as a Vanish, which is what I'm going to teach in this video. We use the principles of the OTO Index. Again, go check out that video. It's linked in the cards of the original tutorial, so you can get some of the mechanics and the subtleties and the psychology that go into it. But we're using that, and now just flipping the context, changing the frame around it with a few other little tips and subtleties to make it appear like any card named has vanished instantly, right? We don't have to do any work, no setup, shuffle deck, any named card. We just take the deck back, we go through displaying the cards, and a card has vanished. And then on top of that, we actually have full control over the card during that process, as you saw. So let's explain what's going on here. So in the original OTO Index, you would start with a bank of cards in the right hand and of some cards in the left hand. And doing this allows you to see the pips of about 1/3 of the deck before anything even happens. So you'd start like this and you'd say name any card. If they happen to name a card that's in the first third of this deck in this bank, like the Ace of Hearts, all you need to do is basically close the deck and you can have full control over whatever card they named, right? If it's not in this, if it's in the second third, then you're gonna close the deck and you're gonna say, really, is there any reason you chose that card? And then you're gonna close up the deck, right? And it's instant like that. In this case, you would have control of the 7 of diamonds, say, right? So there's all kinds of different ways. And if it's in the last third, for completeness here, you'd close, you'd say, is there any reason you chose that card? Because you could have had any one of these, right? And you close up, and again, this time we'll have control of the King of Hearts, right? So whatever third of the deck their card falls in, there's a slightly different process, but within a matter of seconds, right? That was the worst case I just showed. And in a matter of seconds, I quickly have control of their card and I set the deck down. I have control of their card on the top of the deck, and the psychology makes it feel like I've never went through the deck. Now the difference here is you're not gonna start with this open panel, but there's gonna be less heat on you in this. The main method involves where you're looking when you're doing the spread and just hiding that card from the spectator, okay? right? So if there's the 2 of hearts here, I can just hide it out of view, and now it appears like it's vanished. So you're doing that, and the ways you're going to be allowed to do this right in front of the spectator is with some psychological cover of showing them the deck, and then slightly, as you close, slightly tilting out of their view and then coming back into view. But it really doesn't feel like you're not seeing any of the cards, right? Because you are seeing all the cards. It's just a second after I see them. So it gives me just enough time to hide that card before it comes into view. It's kind of this accordion rhythm where you spread and you come down, and then as you close, you slightly come up. And you don't need to come like this, just enough that it's pointing at their eye line. And psychologically, this feels like you're hiding something. This feels like they can see just as much as this, really, but they just can't quite make out the pips, right? The other important thing is where your eyes are. Your eyes are going to be looking at the front left corner. So if you typically spread, everyone's looking at the middle of the spread, but we're going to be looking up here at the front, and that's going to allow us to be just a second ahead of the spectators as well. And the final piece, the mechanical portion, is just a call, but I'm going to show you how you can actually make this a lot more accessible, because you know the actions that you're doing make this call basically automatic, right? Even if you're not good at the call, I'd highly recommend you check this out. So step 1 is having the cards shuffled and returned to you, and now the audience can name any card they want. Now the first piece of psychology is to not quickly just jump into this. Pretend like something happens. Make it feel like the card is actually vanishing. So when they name that card, you're gonna say, okay, watch, I'm gonna make this card vanish, just like, I think it's 20 down, gone, right? You say something like that, or just at the very least, just pause and ask them, you know, why did you choose that card? Is there any reason? Just putting some delay makes this feel more authentic. Now you're gonna pick up the deck, and here's your question. What if their card is on the face? Well, one thing you can do is set the deck face up, and then they won't name that card. If they do, you say, well, not this one, it's too easy, right? Or something like that. I normally just do it face down. I flip it over. If this happened to be their card, then I would say, well, it's obviously not, that one hasn't disappeared, so let's try this again. Pick another one, right? It's not a big deal, just brush it off. You could go through, do an Index Vanish if you want, make it look like it vanished, and then just push off and make it seem like the card's gone if you wanted. But I'd probably do one of the first 2 ways. As you spread, you're gonna tilt the deck just so it's at the eye line. Just, not here, but just so they can't see, right? You can even keep a little bit of the faces, but you can't still really tell what those cards are. So I'm gonna come here and I'm gonna spread. And what you're doing is you're just looking for the number of the card they say. This is gonna make it a lot faster for you to go through the cards, right? If you're trying to find a card and you're looking at every single number and every single color and every suit, it's going to take you a long time. But if they say 4 and I'm just looking for 4s, I have 4, 4, 4, 4, right? Really quick. I don't pay attention to anything else. I'm just looking for the number 4. And then what you're doing in your head is, if I'm looking for the 4 of hearts, the second I see a 4, I quickly scan the suit and then I keep going, right? And that's the way that I process the cards. That's the fastest way I've found. If you have a faster way, you can do that. But processing these cards in your mind really quickly is important. So what I do is I look, 4, 4, 4, 4 diamonds, 4 spades, 4 hearts, found, right? So that's how I do the processing. So that first spread is going to be slightly towards you. You're going to spread the cards. Now you want to make sure that you have the cards spread nicely so you don't cover any, right? So you're getting one at a time. So you kind of do this accordion rhythm. So the thumb on top, and then this thumb is going really fast to do all this pushing, right? And then this hand underneath is just coming and grabbing the card. So it's open, close, open, close. Your spread does need to be decent for this, because you need to make sure all the pips become visible to you at some point so you don't miss their card, right? The positive thing is, if you do miss their card when spreading because you cover it, then it'll still appear to be vanished for them as well. Only problem is you won't know where it is, so you won't have control of it. So the effect of the vanish will still work, but you might have to go through the cards again. So what I do, sometimes it happens, I go too fast and I miss their card. But if I don't see it, chances are they didn't see it either. So now when I go through the second time to prove that it's really gone, I'll just do the same thing that I did the first time. The second time is meant to be this extra clean, fair, really slow display without this little rhythm happening. If I miss the card in the first time, then I'll just do this again the second time. So you can see me going through like this. It really feels like you guys are seeing a lot of the cards, right? It doesn't feel like I'm seeing any of the cards before you, but it's just this slight tilting up of the hands that doesn't give you enough time to see these cards while I'm processing if your card is there. Okay, so that's really what I'm doing. I'm just trying to spot your card before you do so I can block it out of view. So that first spread, I spread, and as I'm just watching up here, right? So I'm watching, so I see 3 of clubs, 7, 10, I see the 2, the kings, right? And I'm just looking for that, let's say, jack of hearts. So I come here, and just as I see that there's no jack of hearts, I stop and I put this into view and I say there's no jack of hearts here, and then I close in view as I'm slowly tilting up, and just as I get out of view, I'm starting to spread again. You know, eyes up here looking for the jack of hearts. I don't see it again, and I've kind of reached the end of how far I can spread, so I come back down. I say, no jack of hearts here. Now I'm closing, tilting up, starting to spread, looking for the jack of hearts. Oh, I just spotted it, so I spot it. You see where I spot it, all the way at the front here. So now, here's how you do the block. You need to get this hand so that you can pick up all the cards above the jack of hearts. So you want to maneuver your fingers here so that they are on the card that's to the right of the jack of hearts. In this case, the ace of spades, or the card that's just above it. So you can actually separate these. You want these to act individually, right? Your thumb then is placed right on their selected card. So the second I spot it, my thumb goes here and I adjust my fingers so that they're on this card so that I could separate it. So a good practice is go through, spot the card, 8 of spades, and then separate at that, right? That's what you need to essentially, that's the finger position you need. Once your fingers are in this position where you can separate at the 5 of hearts, see, instantly. So name a card, go through the deck, when you spot it, separate instantly, and that'll get your hands in the right position. Because once this happens, you can just push this packet over top of this one, and it's super easy, right? Out of view. So that's essentially what you're doing. You're going through, I spot the jack of hearts and I push this over. But in order to have these act as independent packets that this one can block this one, they have to be held independently. If I'm holding it here, where I don't have the card that I want above the jack to block it, when I try to push, it's gonna get clumpy, right? These cards aren't gonna clump. Now you could still do this and have access to the jack and all that, but it's a little bit more difficult. So once I find the jack and I have my hands like this, as I'm coming down into view, I'm literally just, imagine, separating them and putting this on top. But instead of separating, I'm just closing it. So if you really want to practice, you could separate, put it on top, and block it. And then just keep spreading with it blocked, right? That's essentially what's happening. I'm just not lifting. So I spot it, I get the hands in position, right? So I have the hands here with these tips of these fingers grabbing that last card above the jack. This I'm just holding normally. I place the thumb on the jack, and then I just put this over top. Now the other thing that's happening is this thumb is actually pushing the jack underneath there as well. Because what you want is you want this card to be pushed underneath and have enough room to then pull it into a call. And that's why I say it's kind of automatic. So if I don't push this card out, if it stays on here, there's only a little bit of room, and then I bring this on top, now I have to try to grab this tiny little corner to pull it out. So if this meets in the middle where this is pushing and this is coming over top, and you go just until this card contacts that thumb, right? Just till it goes underneath that thumb and blocks that card. And these fingers can also help you square up that card. Now it doesn't really need to be square, but this is kind of what happens, right? So this comes, boom. And you can see here, this card gets pushed out as these slide over. This card, watch, it goes straight underneath these fingertips, just as the top card goes straight underneath the thumb. So now, when I pull, right, because I have the thumb on the card above, which you need for a call, right? If I wanted to call the jack of hearts, I'd need my thumb on the ace, so I have leverage to now pull the jack. And I'd need the jack under these fingers. Well, this automatically does that. If you put this here, this goes underneath the thumb, and this card goes underneath the fingertips. Now the thumb's on this card, the finger's on this card. Literally, all you need to do is pull with these fingers, and that card's gonna come. Okay? Now, if you're having trouble getting the card to come out all the way and clear this packet, just reach further in, reach further to the middle of that card and pull. Because you want to pull in one smooth action to have it clear. You don't want to go like this and keep trying to pull, right? So those are some things that can really help. So essentially, you spot the card in this position, you're coming down into view as you block it, right? You see how it, just as I get in view, I'm pushing everything over top, and now it looks vanished. And the great part is, I don't have to call this right away. I can now stop, display, say no jack of hearts here. Now, as I go to do the next spread, I'm gonna pull the jack with the fingers, right, to get the spread, and now I just keep spreading cards underneath that jack until I get to the end. I close the deck, and the jack is under my control at the top of the deck. So that's the first spread. That's how you find their card and make it vanish. And wherever it is, this same thing works. If it's right near the front, if it's the 9 of clubs here, then I'd spread and I say, look, no 9 of clubs here, right? And it's blocked just like that. Just as I'm spreading, I spot it, block it, and come into view. And I say, no 9 of clubs here. Now I call, and once you have this card into call, you don't really need to come up. You're gonna stop coming up anyway. But you wanna get in the habit of not doing this so that once you get that card called, that you don't accidentally come up and show this. So once you have their card spotted, 5 of diamonds, blocked, pulled, and so it's cleared, now I can just start feeding cards underneath. I'm not gonna come up again. Now some people might think, well, it's looking slightly different now because you're doing this and then you're just doing this. No audience is gonna think about that, right? And at the end of the day, if you do this just subtly, where it's very subtle, where you kind of go like this, kind of like this, kind of like this. Oh, I spotted it, so I block it, and now I just kind of come like this and spread the rest. It's totally fine, right? And I have that card under control. One thing that's really important is to act like it's actually happening. You need to believe that the card has vanished. And I'll show you what I mean by that in a second in the subtlety section. But now once I have that 9 on the top of the deck, now I can go through really slow and I'll say, hold on, there's no way. Let's check. Let's just make sure I didn't miss it. And I say that, and it allows me an excuse to go through a second time. And now I can do this really slow, clean display where they really get to look. Now what happens, just as I get near the end of the packet, I'm just gonna retract this card a little bit. So you wanna straddle the packet with the pinky and the index, and that's gonna allow you leverage to now slide this card. And you just need to slide it about half a card length, okay? Not even. So I go through, you see how I'm straddling this? Now when I get to the end, before I reveal that top card, I squeeze, I pull it back a little bit, and then I keep spreading, and now I can remove this last card, do a little flip as a subtlety that it's the last card, and then I just slide it back right underneath, and I close up and I still have it in control. But it's a beautiful, beautiful subtlety where you can kind of come like this and you say, look. And look how amazing that looks. Like it's the last card, but really it wasn't, right? So that allows you to do it. So how it looks, let's say 10 of diamonds, right? And how this looks at kind of a regular speed. And the important things to keep in mind with this is getting your rhythm and doing it at just a decent speed. Like you're gonna have to practice, but eventually you'll get up to it at a good speed. But this is kind of what it looks like, right? So I'll say 10 of diamonds. Now, I don't see any 10 of diamonds here. No 10 of diamonds here. No 10 of diamonds here, what the heck? No 10 of diamonds here. No 10 of diamonds here, none here, none here. Here's a 10 of hearts, but no 10 of diamonds. There's no way, hold on. No 10 of diamonds, there's a 10 of spades. No 10 of diamonds, no 10 of diamonds, no 10 of diamonds, 10 of clubs, 10 of hearts. The last card, the ace of diamonds, 10 of diamonds has completely vanished. Yet I have control of it. So you see how that rhythm, it was very smooth, very smooth. Once I spotted it, I blocked it, come into view, and then I'm just feeding the cards underneath. I get to the end. And then one thing I like to do when I go through the second time is I kind of go slow and I point out the other 3 cards of that value, just so it really feels like we're searching for it. So now let's jump into some subtleties. The subtleties are extremely important, so do not skip this section. But the first thing is you want to sell that this actually happened. Convince them the card's gone. It doesn't work in all contexts. If you're using it as a let's look for your card and then it happens to not be there and you're surprised, then this is where you would really want to use that. If you're the magician type who's like, boom, it's vanished, which some routines would use, then you still want to act a little bit like wow, this is crazy, but you don't need to be like shocked or it's unbelievable because you kind of knew it would happen. But I prefer the first one. I'd use that mostly, where I don't really expect it to be gone. I say, okay, let me just find your card here. So I say, let's see, no 10 of diamonds, no 10 of diamonds, where is it here? 10 of diamonds, right? And I'm going through, pretending like I'm searching for it. There's another context where you have like a mystery card where maybe this is a sandwich routine where there's a card in between cards already, we don't know what it is, and it's not their card's somewhere in here, but we want to convince them that this is their card. So now we could say, you pick 10 of diamonds, right? Let's look. There's no way, let's look for it. Hold on, there's no way, no way. Then you're looking through and you say, no, not here. This is crazy, hold on. What, no 10 of diamonds, what, right? So you see, I'm kind of laughing and I'm in shock, and that just helps sell this so much more. One thing you'll find when you do this, guys, if you do this properly, they will already be convinced their card is vanished or changed. Like let's say I have a random card here, and then I say name any card you want, and they say the 4 of clubs. I could make it now appear that this is the 4 of clubs, and this auto index vanish is a huge extra subtlety, right? Instead of me, you know, what you might do in this routine if you had this as a prediction card in their pocket, and they say 4 of clubs, so you might go through, you know, cull the 4 of clubs. It was already on top, funny enough, but you'd cull it to the top, you get it set up, and then you take that card out of their pocket and you'd say, look, the 4 of clubs, and you do a double, right? That's okay, but this allows so much better of a convincer and such a great subtlety, because now 4 of clubs, and I say, look, no 4 of clubs here, no 4 of clubs here, no 4 of clubs here, no 4 of clubs here. And then we go again super slow. I get it in my control. I go through and I say, look, no 4 of clubs. No, there's no way. Hold on. And I go boom. And now I actually still have it at the top. So it's the exact same effect. I do a double, boom, 4 of clubs. But I'm telling you, they will already start reacting. So I have a lot of effects similar to this, where I have a card that's a mystery card kind of thing. Maybe it's in between a sandwich, something like that. And I'm going through, we're looking for their card, right? Their card is nowhere to be found. We can't find their card. I'm telling you, I don't even need to flip to prove them that's their card. They already are convinced. By how convincing this vanish is, they are already convinced that this is their card. So the ending, where you have to maybe get a bit dirtier and put the card on the deck to do a double, say, is totally fine, because they already believe that that is the card. Now, if you add that with some great acting, where you say, there's no way, 4 of clubs, hold on. It's not, what? 4 of clubs? There's no way. Hold on, let's look again. 4 of clubs, 4 of clubs. No 4 of clubs here, nothing there, right? They now believe that you believe it too. And that is what it's all about. It's about convincing them. The other thing is, like I said, really small coming in and out of view. Don't make this seem like this. If you do this, it's gonna seem really fishy. We want them to feel like they've seen the deck the whole time, which it really does feel like. They don't realize that this slight motion is just enough time for them to not see the card that we want them to not see. Those are some of the really key subtleties. Convince them that it happens, act accordingly, right? If a card was actually going to vanish from a shuffled deck, how would you respond? Respond that same way. Depending on the context of the routine, you might act like you were surprised that it's vanished. You might act like, look, watch, it's gone. Look, there's no 4 of clubs here, none here, none here, and you're now showing them, because you're maybe you made the magic happen, you know that it's going to happen, so you can now show, like, look, no 4 of clubs here. But it's important to sell that. Also, once they name the card, take a second between going through the cards. That just adds a little bit more convincing aspects to it, that you're not doing anything funny, there's nothing sneaky, that we're just going through the cards to look. And then finally, this subtlety here is very important, the rhythm here. You got to master that, of just coming slightly up to their eye line, just so you get those cards out of view for a second. And then I love the subtlety of the last phase, doing this and going through and saying, there's the 9 of hearts, the 9 of clubs, the 9 of spades, but I don't see any 9 of diamonds, right? Something like that. I love that little subtlety, and that last really going through a second time slow. Optional, but I really love it. Now, time for some other ideas. So what can you use this for? So I'm gonna give you a few ideas. So there's kind of different contexts. So one is the context where you know that the card is vanishing, so you're the one making the card vanish. So one thing I love doing, you have a signed card. They themselves, you hand them the deck, they have their signed card, you say put it in wherever you want and shuffle. And you say, and while they're shuffling, I say, watch, I'll make that card vanish. I snap and I take the deck from them and I say, look, you signed the 10 of hearts, but I want to show you here, look, it's nowhere here, 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 here. I go through and I say, actually, you know what, let's go really slow, da 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 da, 10 of diamonds, 10 of, you know, all the usual stuff, boom, 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 last card, gone, and I have control of the 10 of hearts, but to them, it's now vanished, so it's amazing. So now from here, maybe I hand them the deck, I palm it off, and I say, that's because that card the whole time was in my pocket. And it's so much more convincing than just controlling the card on your own and doing a card to pocket, because now you've proved to them that the card has vanished, right? You've already proved that the card's gone. So it appearing somewhere else makes sense now. Think about how powerful that is in so many different routines using this. It's just so much better. It enhances the routine so much. And like I said, if they already knew, say that a card was in my pocket, maybe you show them a blank card going into your pocket. They've seen a blank card, so now they know there's a card in here. Now, you showing that the 10's gone, they already know it's in your pocket. They have already completed the effect before you need to show them, which takes all the heat off you to now do the palm and pretend to come in and pull out that blank card that is now changed to their card. Takes all the heat off you, I'm telling you, because they already believe it's happened, and it just strengthens it so much because they're already convinced it happens before you show them. I'm telling you, you wouldn't even have to show them this card. It's just the cherry on top. They've already reacted. You know, this is a super powerful weapon. You can use it as a vanish. You can use it as a display, as a convincer. So many techniques, so many subtleties, so versatile, so many amazing things you can do with this. So I hope you guys enjoy it. This is the OTO Index Vanish, and I hope you like that tutorial. All right, guys, that is it for this video. I hope you love the OTO Index Vanish. Once again, if you have not seen the original OTO Index video, I highly recommend you check it out. It is linked in the cards, and I'll probably link it in the description as well. This is a super powerful move. Do not underestimate it. Try it in the effects you already do. It can fit in so many effects with those other ideas I talked about as vanishes, as convincer. It's a great convincer that your card has vanished, that your card is actually this mystery card in the envelope that you have, right? Think about that. It's so versatile. There's so many things you can use it for. It's one of my favorite things that I've actually come up with. So hope you guys love it. Let me know what you think about it in the comments below. If you'd like more videos like this, more tutorials, don't forget to smash that like button. Drop me a comment, share this video, all that good stuff. If you would like to check out some private lessons where I can help you with this, I do a fair amount of lessons solely on the call and the OTO Index and stuff like that. So if you would like some help with that, feel free to check out my private lessons. Hit me up at the link in the description and we can set up a great lesson. But with all that said, guys, don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, and I will catch you in the next video.